The birth certificate was created for the children of the newly freed black slaves. Anybody here got a birth certificate still? You're a black slave. They were created for the black slaves. It enrolled the black slaves' children as property of the federal United States. When you get a birth certificate, you become property of the federal United States. Your birth certificate is transferred to the Bureau of Census, to the Department of Commerce. You are enrolled as a beneficiary of the Federal Reserve System, and you become obligated to the national and federal debts. That's one of the foundational instruments, one of the adhesion contracts, we call them. And so, from the point of the 14th Amendment, the second part of the 14th Amendment, which people aren't aware of, is that it says that no citizen shall question the debt, which established the precedent whereby if you became a U.S. citizen, you no longer could question the federal government's spending. You just became obligated, carte blanche, to whatever shopping spree the federal government was up to. And so from the 14th Amendment on through till about 1933, after the Great Depression, that's when most white Americans began to transfer their citizenship over to the federal United States. After 3 or 4 years of the hardships of the Great Depression, people were very demoralized. And so when they enrolled in the Social Security system to get a benefit from the government, unknown to them in the SS-5, is that when they asked the simple little question on the form, are you a U.S. citizen, and you checked the box, you just gave up your unalienable rights, you gave up your sovereign citizenship, you gave up your Constitution, you gave up your Bill of Rights, and you gave up your country. All because you didn't know there was a distinction between a sovereign state citizen and a U.S. citizen. And so when you got a Social Security number, that was the beginning of a long road of giving up and waiving your rights and become a subject of the federal government. Driver's licenses, vehicle registrations, marriage licenses, incorporation papers, business licenses are all adhesion contracts. And in each one of those you give up another piece of your rights. And in the end you have nothing. You have no rights, not even to control what you do with your body. They want to tell you what to do with your body. Jimmy Carter transferred all the birth certificates as collateral against the national debt to the international bankers when he was president. They took your birth certificate as a security and a trust instrument that it is, and gave it to the international bankers as collateral so they could borrow more money. So your labor, your effort, your work, all of your life will never belong to you. And so, these are the paramount distinctions of citizenship between the sovereign state citizen and the United States citizen. The United States citizen is a legal fiction, a subject of a corporation, subject to all the laws and rules and regulations and acts of Congresses and executive orders, and to the debt. However unpayable it is, you're subject to it. It's an unpayable debt. Can't be paid. All the lip service about balancing the budget, it cannot be paid. It is unsustainable. There was never any provision in the Federal Reserve Act for ever paying the principal. Ever. It was a very well-conceived plan to not only take the sovereignty from the people, but to take all their property as well. And we consented. We consented because we didn't know, because we were ignorant, maybe we were afraid, maybe we were distracted, maybe we weren't paying attention. Maybe we weren't being ever vigilant. Maybe we weren't watching. And so, now that we know what has occurred, we can now take steps to remedy that. We can take steps to reclaim our sovereign citizenship. There are a lot of things that you can do. Now, I don't expect everybody to run out here tomorrow and go file your affidavits and burn your driver's license and all that stuff. There's probably a number of people here who have already done that. But maybe for those of you who are new to some of this, maybe it'll be the first step on a road and a path back to freedom and back to sovereignty and back to restoring the constitutional republic that we have. because we don't have a constitutional republic unless they're sovereign citizens. You don't have Second Amendment rights to bear arms unless you're a sovereign citizen, because there is no Second Amendment unless you're a sovereign citizen by law. None of the amendments apply unless you're a sovereign citizen. Now, whether you become a sovereign state citizen of a particular state, the state citizenship movement is about picking and choosing one of the several states and working within the legal structure of that state in which provisions are there to recognize the common law citizens of California or Oregon. Even in the Motor Vehicle Code, Section 290, the common law, the property of common law citizens are exempt from the Motor Vehicle Code. They had to build in these distinctions in the law. The things I'm talking about tonight are not the rantings and ravings of some crazy conspiracy theory, but these are all in the public record. It's in the law. They're in the United States codes. They're in the California codes. They're in the congressional records. They're in the treaties. They're there to be seen. It's just that not too many people actually read those things, and they don't make it real easy to find. And so unless you enjoy doing that kind of research and poring over the old law books, you might not find these things. But fortunately, there are a lot of people out there who enjoy doing that and have enjoyed it for quite some time. And now we've pulled together a lot of the research of most of those people. I put it together in a book called Reclaiming Your Sovereign Citizenship, so you can have it all between pages of about 250 pages, so you don't have to spend the next 40 years doing the research. You could probably read it all in 2 days and at least get enough background so that you can begin to walk on that path of sovereignty without reinventing the wheel. So we need to reclaim our sovereign citizenship in order to get our country back. And the state citizenship movement is one of the approaches where you choose one of the states. There's also a classification, I'll call it, called the American National. Now, an American National is one who has not chosen any of the several states in particular, but is in fact a non-resident alien, American National. On the USA passport applications, you will notice on the back that the USA passport is for both American nationals and United States citizens. The American national is the non-resident alien, or the state citizen, or the American national, the free sovereign person, people that they're talking about. And you don't need a Social Security number to get a passport. You don't even need a birth certificate if you have other hospital certifications or affidavits of live birth in lieu of your birth certificate. You can still get a USA passport, which is a legitimate function of the national government still. It's a United States of America passport, not a federal United States passport. So from the Social Security Act on up to present time, people have, through many, many adhesion contracts, given up their sovereign citizenship and become U.S. citizens. And in order to reclaim your sovereign citizenship, the first thing that you need to do is to revoke all the contracts you've entered into with the government whereby you have revoked your rights, your citizenship, etc. And that's why I say not everybody's going to run out of here tomorrow and do it, because you may have to rearrange your affairs a little bit. You may have to do things a little differently. You may have to do business a little bit differently. Now, you'll be able to do business. You'll be able to do everything you can do now, only do it as a free person instead, and a person who has the sovereign powers of a sovereign citizen. But it may take a little time getting adjusted to it and getting used to it. So take your time. Take the time that it takes to study and to learn for yourself and to choose for yourself. And then be prepared to defend those rights once you've reclaimed them. Because the government isn't all that willing to see the sovereignty be restored to the people at this point. They're all too happy right now to be the masters. But somebody's got to step forward and draw the line in the sand and tell the government to go back to the limited authority and jurisdiction that the Constitution laid out for you.